Greenhouse watering is where automation helps most, and where people overdo it. Open a greenhouse on a hot July afternoon and it hits you in the face. It is the one corner of the garden that can cook a whole crop in a single day you forget about it. So it is also the place people over-automate into an expensive, fragile mess. I am McCull. I drive buses in Belfast. Today, how smart does a greenhouse actually need to be? Before we climb, understand why a greenhouse is its own animal. Out in the open, the weather does half your work. Rain waters for you, wind cools and dries the leaves. A greenhouse throws all of that away on purpose. It is a sealed box that traps heat and moisture, and that is exactly why it is brilliant, and exactly why it is dangerous. Three things change inside that box. First, temperature swings hard and fast. Sun comes out and the air races up while you are at work. Second, rain never lands inside, so every drop of water is your responsibility. And that rain skip feature that helps outdoors is pure fiction in here. A forecast of rain means nothing to a plant under glass. Third, the air itself becomes a factor. In a sealed, warm box, humidity climbs, air goes still, and that stillness is what fungal disease loves best. So the greenhouse gives you control, the open garden never offers. But control is not a gift, it is a job. Everything the weather used to handle is now handed to you or to whatever you automate in your place. So how much automation should you bolt onto that box? Think of it as a ladder with 3 rungs. Rung 1 is simple thresholds. If it gets too hot, open a vent. If it gets too cold, turn on a heater. One number, one action. Rung 2 is multivariable control, where the system weighs several things at once. Temperature, humidity, light, and water together, because in a greenhouse they are all tangled up. Rung 3 is the top. Artificial intelligence and cameras that actually watch your plants, spotting disease on a leaf or judging when a fruit is ripe. Now here is the one rule that decides how high you climb, and it is the most important sentence in this episode. Every rung you add must answer one question. What risk does this save the plant from? Not what is clever, not what looks good in the app. What risk to the plant does it remove? Automation exists to serve the plant, not the other way round. If a gadget cannot name the danger it protects against, it is not smart. It is just another thing to break, another cost, another cable in a damp box. Climb only as high as the plant needs you to. Let us stand on the bottom rung, because for most of us, this is the whole ladder. Rung 1 is simple thresholds. One measurement crosses a line. One thing happens. Too hot, a vent opens. Too cold, a heater clicks on. The soil is dry at the set time, the water runs. The beauty of Rung 1 is that it maps perfectly onto that rule. Each action names its risk out loud. The auto vent saves your plants from cooking on the afternoon you are stuck on a late shift. The drip on a timer saves them from drying out while you are away. And the humblest, cleverest device in any greenhouse costs nothing to run and needs no Wi-Fi at all. An automatic vent opener, a little cylinder of wax that expands as it warms and pushes the window open, then closes it as things cool. No power, no signal, no app, no subscription. It just answers the single most dangerous risk, overheating, quietly every day. If you did nothing else in your greenhouse but fit one of those and put your watering on a timer, you would have solved the 2 big killers. Honestly, most home growers should stop right here and spend the rest on plants. Rung 2 is where it gets genuinely interesting, and where a serious grower earns real gains. Multivariable control. Instead of reacting to one number, the system looks at several tangled together and makes a smarter call. Here is why that matters. In a greenhouse, temperature, humidity, light, and water are not separate dials. They pull on each other. There is a lovely idea worth knowing here: vapor pressure deficit. In plain terms, it is how thirsty the air is. When the air is hot and dry, it pulls hard on the leaves, and the plant drinks fast. When the air is warm and soggy, it pulls weakly, the plant almost stops drinking, and moisture just sits on the leaves inviting disease. A rung 1 system cannot see that, it just knows the temperature. A rung 2 system understands that on a bright, humid morning, the smart move is not more water, but more ventilation. It waters by what the plant is actually losing, and it opens a vent to dry the air before the mold moves in. This is a real step up in care, but be honest with yourself, it costs more, it needs more sensors, and every sensor is one more thing to place right, calibrate, and eventually replace. Worth it for a polytunnel you rely on, overkill for 6 tomato plants. Rung 3 is the top of the ladder, the one the adverts love. Artificial intelligence and vision, cameras and clever software that do not just measure the air, but actually watch the plants. In a commercial glass house, this is real and it is powerful. A camera spots the first specks of disease on a leaf before your eye ever would. Software predicts how much fruit is coming and when. It judges ripeness across 10,000 plants and tells the pickers where to go. That is genuinely smart. And for a business feeding a supermarket, it pays for itself. But here is the honest truth for you and me in a little glass box at the bottom of the garden. You do not need a neural network to tell you your tomatoes have blight. You need to open the door and look. At home, rung 3 is almost always a solution hunting for a problem. The risk it saves you from, missing something your own eyes would catch on a daily walk around, is a risk you can remove for free by simply going in and paying attention. Save the artificial intelligence for the people growing a million cucumbers. You have got the best crop monitor there is, and it is standing in your wellies. Whichever rung you land on, there is one principle that outranks all the electronics, and new growers get it backwards. They think the goal of a greenhouse is to seal it up tight and keep everything in. It is not. A sealed greenhouse is a sick greenhouse. Remember the still, humid air from earlier. That is the perfect nursery for fungal disease. Gray mold, mildew, the leaf spots that turn a proud tomato plant into a science experiment. All of them thrive in warm, wet, motionless air. So more often than not, the smartest control in the whole place is not a heater or a mister. It is ventilation, moving air, drying the leaves, breaking up that stagnant blanket the diseases love. This is where cheap and clever beats expensive and complicated. Opening a vent and a door for cross-flow does more for plant health than most of the gadgets on rung 2 or 3. So before you spend a penny climbing the ladder, ask the reverse question. Not what can I add, but what am I trapping? Half the time, the healthiest upgrade is simply letting the greenhouse breathe. So which rung is yours? Let me lay it out plainly, and let a real gardener show you the answer. On the allotment forums, someone posted a happy update, 9 days away, and their greenhouse peppers were still alive, thanks to a simple 12-volt pump feeding a drip line off a battery in a water tank. No AI, no multi-sensor brain, just rung 1, aimed squarely at the one risk that mattered, drying out while they were gone. That is the pattern. Most home growers belong on rung 1. A vent opener and a watering timer solve the two things that actually kill greenhouse plants, heat and thirst, for very little money. If you grow seriously in a polytunnel you depend on, rung 2 starts to pay once you can place and maintain the sensors honestly. Rung 3, the cameras and the artificial intelligence, belongs to commercial glass houses and to hobbyists who tinker for the joy of it. And there is no shame in that, as long as you know that is what you are buying. The ladder is not a race to the top. The winner is the grower whose plants are healthy, whatever rung they stopped on. So where does my own kit sit? right on that bottom rung, doing the watering job. In my setup, the greenhouse drip line is one zone on the Johgee 4-zone timer, on its own schedule, separate from the beds outside. That is rung 1 done properly, the water risk handled. But 2 honest warnings for greenhouse use. Turn the rain skip off for that zone. A forecast of rain out there means nothing under glass, and a clever skip will quietly leave your plants gasping. And a timer does not ventilate. It will not save you from heat or mold. Pair it with a vent or a wax opener that needs no power at all, and let the timer only do the thing it is good at. So what does that mean for your greenhouse? 3 things to carry out of today. First, a greenhouse is a box that throws away the weather, so heat, water, and disease all become your job, and rain skip is meaningless under glass. Second, treat SMART as a ladder of 3 rungs, thresholds, then multivariable control, then AI vision, and add a rung only when it names a real risk to the plant. Third, most of us should stand happily on rung 1, a vent that opens itself and water on a timer, and spend the rest on letting the place breathe. Smart was never the goal, a healthy crop was. Next week we take that honesty all the way. We talk about who should not buy a smart timer at all, the gardens and the people it is simply wrong for. It is the most useful sales pitch you will ever hear me give because it is mostly me talking you out of it. If a bus driver telling you to buy less kit is your sort of thing, subscribe and tell me what you grow under glass in the comments. Right, that is the route for today. See you on the next one.